Days of Our Lives, spoilers for Wednesday, July 16th, reveal that Thomas DiMera will have a question for Kat Green and Chad DiMera. Rafe Hernandez will also trash EJ DiMera, while Stephanie Johnson faces a shocker. So let's talk about what's ahead on Duel. First, Alex Kyriakis will have a special surprise in store for the woman he loves. Days spoilers say Stephanie will be taken aback when Alex shows her the new cover of her novel, One Stormy Night, on a tablet. Although Stephanie previously had some reservations about publishing her novel, Alex finally got her on board. Since it's being released under a pseudonym, Stephanie will choose to relax, gush over the cover, and embrace the fun of all this on Wednesday's Days episode. Kayla Johnson will look at that same cover on her own tablet as she apparently purchases the book, but she won't realize her own daughter wrote all the steaminess. At the DiMera mansion, EJ will have a chance to react now that Gwen von Leuschner wants to move in. There's a good chance EJ will resist at first, but he'll eventually come around on the idea of a mutually beneficial arrangement, one that involves Gwen scheming for him. Other days, spoilers say Xander Kyriakis will continue to juggle his tasks at the office with his daddy duties. That juggling act will prove harder than Xander thought, since Victoria Kyriakis will remain fussy without Sarah Horton Kyriakis around. After Gabi Hernandez has another conversation with Xander, she'll catch up with Rafe as well. It'll be the calm before the storm for Gabi, since she's on the verge of figuring out Ariana Ari Horton is missing. In the meantime, Rafe will spill to Kat about EJ's twisted history. Since Kat and Rafe are partners on a case involving EJ's takedown, Rafe will want her to know exactly who they're dealing with. While Rafe gives Kat updates on EJ's past, Chad will take Thomas to the park so they can play baseball together. Kat will later bump into Thomas and Chad there, so Thomas will catch them both off guard with a question. It turns out Thomas will ask if Kat can join in the game, so some cute scenes are on the way as Kat plays with Thomas and Chad. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Thomas's invitation could be good news when it comes to Chad and Kat's budding relationship, since he apparently approves. Belle and EJ are reveling in bed together after a night together. They start making out again, then EJ offers to whip up some breakfast for her. He does and brings it back, which Belle loves. They start reflecting on how tough things will get being on opposing sides in the court. Opposing, EJ says, but wanting the same thing, getting Johnny off. Belle tells him she does want it, but she's doing this by the book. She wishes she'd never been put back on the case. It would have been better with an ADA taking the case. If Johnny goes free, everyone will think she pulled her punches and let him go. EJ shrugs off her concerns, saying everyone knows she's got integrity. Besides, with all the new evidence, there's enough reasonable doubt to drop the charges against him. Belle's aghast. Drop the charges? If he's not exonerated in a courtroom, this will hang over his head forever. She then accuses EJ. Kristen drops by Brady's, where he tells her the good news. There's a new suspect in EJ's shooting, which is good for Rachel. But it's Chanel. Kristen's relieved that the charges would get dropped, and Rachel won't have to testify against Johnny. Brady points out that this is no win for Johnny either way. He either did it, or his wife did. Kristen figures Chanel deserves whatever's coming his way, if she was about to let Johnny take the fall for her crime. Brady points out that Kristen would readily do what Chanel did if it meant protecting someone she loves. Maybe, but she wouldn't let the man she loves take the fall for it. Either way, she's glad this could mean Rachel getting off the hook, especially after EJ tried coercing her into getting Rachel to lie on the stand. Tate, meanwhile, nervously checks his. Brady wants to storm out and yell at EJ, but Kristen stops her, saying her brother's so desperate to save his son, he's dangerous. Brady agrees to drop it for now, but then Tate gets home, much to Brady's surprise. Kristen takes the chance to slip out, and Tate tells his dad Holly never showed up, nor has he heard from her by phone or text. He worries that maybe she had a change of heart and doesn't want to get back together. Brady convinces him that's just paranoia, then encourages him to reach out to anyone who could know where she is. Tate knows just the person. Johnny's on the phone, telling Philip that a personal emergency popped up and he can't make it into work. Chanel walks slowly into the living, marveling how he can act like everything's normal when their world is falling apart. Everyone's going to think one of them shot EJ. Johnny doesn't care, though. They both know they're innocent, so they need to figure out who did shoot his dad. Johnny doesn't trust the police. They aren't interested in other suspects. He believes in Chanel. And if she did anything like that, she'd never let him take the fall for it. They start listing through suspects: Gabi, Ava, Aunt Kristen. He goes to get paper to take notes and sees that Chanel took out Sweet Bits as collateral for his bond. He hates that she did that. She could lose the business. Chanel says that she had to, so he knows she supports him 100%. Otherwise, they could have asked either of their parents. Johnny calms down and they hug, telling each other they love each other. He just wishes he hadn't kept anything from Chanel, like wanting to kill his dad. Plus, his anger affected her too. The thug throws Ari and Holly in a room at gunpoint, telling that once a mutual friend coughs up money, they can go home. If he doesn't have it, though, things are going to get complicated. But no, they won't necessarily die if their friend doesn't come through. Instead, he'll just ransom them from their families. He leaves and tells the panicking girls to behave. They don't, of course, trying to force the door. It doesn't budge, so they take a breather, at which point Holly apologizes to Ari, saying this is all her fault because of the guy she was trying to help. Weird, because Ari was hooking up with someone like that too. They compare notes and realize they both know Doug. Holly then lays out how she knows Doug. They didn't sleep together, and she's glad now since she's back with Tate. Ari's ticked at Doug, though, for getting them in this mess. She feels like a fool, and like Doug was only with her because he couldn't be with Holly. They both know Doug doesn't have money, though. But Ari hopes he's resourceful enough to fix this. They try again to figure out a way out. Then Holly mentions her dropped ring in the alley. That could give folks a lead to find them, and Tate could spread the word that they're missing. Doug's dressed up as a waiter, complete with tray of food, and knocks on Gwen's hotel room door. When she doesn't answer, he tries letting himself in, just as Gwen gets back. He eyes up her necklace as he makes up an excuse about mixing up her room service, then runs off. Gwen heads in, then comes back out, while Doug hides behind a corner and watches, frustrated that she's still got the necklace on. He heads over to the pub, sees the thug, then grabs him and screams at him to let the girls go. He will, when Doug's got the money. But Doug doesn't have the cash. He's got one more day. Sun up tomorrow or that's it. And if anything happens to the girls, it's on Doug. And no cops. Gwen saunters into the Dimera house, where she and Kristen happily greet each other. Gwen fills Kristen in on how she got Dimitri's inheritance and is now stinking filthy rich. Kristen's delighted, but wants to know why she's slumming it in Salem now. Gwen adores this charming little backwater, and so long as Dimitri doesn't resurface and divorce her, she's still a von Leuschner and a Dimera, which is why she's there. To move in, Chanel asks Johnny to just hold her for a bit, and they embrace. They both wish they could just forget about everyone and everything but themselves. Doug walks morosely behind the bar at the pub and pours himself a drink, eyeing up the register. He doesn't get far before Tate walks in and calls him over to talk about Holly. Doug plays dumb and says he has no idea where she is and hasn't heard from her. Kristen chuckles at Gwen, double-checking that she wants to live here. It's a bit tense lately, more so than usual. That's when Belle storms down and grabs her purse, then runs out past EJ as he tries talking to her. EJ spots Gwen, at that point, shocked. And even more shocked when she says how much fun it'll be when they live together. We know Days of Our Lives Belle certainly has a fighting spirit. You kind of have to if you're a lawyer. And that goes double if you're the DA. That doesn't mean she always makes the smartest choices when it comes to love, though, as now she's turning that fighting spirit on her current love, EJ, after he tried pressuring her into dropping Johnny's case. But while some of Belle's choices may not always be for the best, they're almost certainly always entertaining. With that said, it takes a lot to keep that entertainment going on our screens, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. And that's why we have award shows like the Daytime Emmys, to celebrate everyone who puts in the hard work. Martha Madison took to her Instagram stories to champion not just Days of Our Lives, but all of soapdom on Emmy Day when the nominations were announced. Days of Our Lives earned an impressive 11 nominations in everything from acting to writing, directing, and Best Soap. Virtually every aspect of the Peacock Sudser was honored with nominations recognizing folks' hard work. And Madison was not just proud of what the Peacock Sudser accomplished, but fiercely protective of it and everyone who puts in the hard work to keep it running and thriving. Soaps shoot all year long, Belle's portrayer wrote in her stories. Produce 5 episodes per week, sometimes shoot up to 8 to 10 episodes a week. That can be 150-plus pages in 8 to 10 hours. She went on to point out that nobody in Hollywood works harder, has better technical skill, or more team spirit than daytime TV professionals. Fight me! To be clear, Madison wasn't just talking about Days of Our Lives. As she continued, "I'm so proud of our team, our genre, and all of the people who make all the shows. We certainly second that. Everyone in daytime has a reason to be proud of all the hard work they put in to making our beloved soaps. The world just wouldn't be the same without them. Days of Our Lives." Spoilers for Tuesday, July 15th reveal that Doug Williams III will have a plan that flops while Tate Black searches for answers. Kristen DiMera will also get a surprise visitor. So let's talk about what's coming up on Duel. First, on Tuesday's Days episode, Doug will panic over Holly Jonas and Ariana Ari Horton's abduction. It'll certainly motivate Doug to work fast and try to get the girls out of this life-threatening jam. Days spoilers say Doug will pose as a hotel employee at the Salem Inn and try to use the situation to get his hands on Gwen von Leuschner's necklace. However, Gwen will ultimately leave wearing it, so Doug's plot won't pan out. Doug will also get physical with Richie Dominic and blast him over all the kidnapping chaos. But Richie will make it clear that Ari and Holly aren't walking free until the debt's covered. As for Ari and Holly, Days spoilers say they'll grow increasingly nervous about the jam they're stuck in. Holly and Ari will hold out hope for a rescue, but they'll know the stakes are high. Tate will eventually realize Holly and Ari are missing, so he'll put Doug through a grilling session over the news. We'll see Tate searching for answers as Ari and Holly remain in grave danger. Back with Gwen, she'll pay Kristen a surprise visit at the DiMera mansion. That'll give Gwen a chance to gloat about all the money she has access to, since she's still technically Dimitri von Leuschner's wife. While Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree DiMera provide mutual support over all their legal issues, EJ DiMera will spend some time in bed with Belle Black. That'll lead to EJ offering up an idea that's sure to catch Belle off guard. Could EJ ask Belle to move in, or will this involve something related to Johnny's upcoming trial? Either way, Days of Our Lives spoilers say Belle and EJ will remain intertwined in some complicated ways, so stay tuned for updates on all the drama. Days of Our Lives spoilers and updates tease that it seems that Gabi Hernandez might have just revealed a hint about a miracle baby sometime in the future. Even though Gabi supposedly can no longer have babies of her own, could there be a fresh Who's the Daddy mystery on the horizon that's set to stir things up? In the episode of Duel that aired on July 8th, Gabi remembered her youth and the fear she felt when she became pregnant with Ariana Ari Horton. "Even though I would do anything to have another child, I certainly had my reservations about being a good mother," Gabi expressed. This statement seems to hold significant implications for Gabi's future on the NBC Peacock soap. Usually, they're a clue. Soap operas frequently utilize such dialogue as hints regarding a character's upcoming journey. Some call these script hints anvils. Considering this, it's possible that Gabi is on the brink of having her wish for a second baby fulfilled by some miraculous means. Even though Gabi believes she may not be able to have more children, there's still a possibility of a miraculous pregnancy on the horizon. In collaboration with Tony DiMera, Gabi plans to utilize her alluring skills in the upcoming months. According to upcoming spoilers, Gabi will share a kiss with Xander Kyriakis, which opens the door for them to wind up in bed, depending on how far this plot unfolds. If a pregnancy storyline develops, Xander could emerge as a potential father. Nevertheless, it's Philip Kyriakis with whom Gabi truly ignites a spark. Gabi is set to have a heated desk interaction with Philip, one that could extend beyond her storyline with Tony in the end. In other words, Gabi might start to develop genuine feelings for Philip, as they ultimately allow their passion to unfold. If Gabi does end up pregnant, Philip could be a potential baby daddy. Naturally, there might be another candidate for paternity depending on how everything unfolds. Spoilers for the upcoming days suggest that Gabi will eventually reconnect with JJ Devereaux, which means JJ could also emerge as a biological father option. Regardless of the outcome, it's intriguing that Gabi has been discussing pregnancy and expressing her desire to have another child. It sounds like a storyline prediction. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Tuesday, July 15th indicate some interesting moments in Salem. Two characters are in a dangerous situation while someone has a romantic suggestion and a couple is locked in some legal drama. What's set to go down on Tuesday? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, July 15th hint that Holly Jonas and Ariana Ari Horton will be in danger, as the two women will be kidnapped by the thugs threatening Doug Williams III. They warned Doug that they'd harm his friends if he didn't pay up, so now it looks like they are making good on their promises. In other news, Tate Black will question Doug 3.0 about Holly's whereabouts. Will Doug tell him what's going on? Read this. Days of Our Lives spoilers next 2 weeks. Rafe's hostage intel, Thomas's date, Gwen's new home across town. EJ DiMera will have a suggestion for his gal pal, Belle Black. Will this be a romantic suggestion, or could it be about business? Right now, the police are looking to nail Johnny DiMera for shooting EJ, as his dad works on a defense, and his Aunt Belle is the prosecuting attorney. Will EJ have an idea about the case? Or an idea for the bedroom? In other news, Kristen DiMera catches up with old pal, Gwen Rizchek. What will these two ladies chat about? Lastly, Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday suggest that both Johnny and Chanel will continue to lean on each other. Both look very guilty when it comes to shooting EJ, so they'll commiserate about their legal situation. After all, if either of them gets nailed for this crime, even though neither did it, they'll both be unhappy about the situation. Still, with suspicion on Chanel now, will Johnny fess up to the shooting so his wife can avoid any repercussions? Are you excited about Tuesday's show? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Tune into the new Peacock soap regularly for all the drama, and check out SOS often for the best Days of Our Lives news, updates, and spoilers. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, July 18th prove that EJ is still the most interesting person in Salem, as Kat gets an earful about her target from a surprising source, and Gwen has a shocking demand for him. Shane put Kat on the job of bringing down the DiMera empire. So why is Rafe the one filling her in on all the bad things EJ has done? Now we realize that Rafe, as an ex of Sammy's, does have a unique perspective on the evil dude. But is that what Shane is actually interested in? Shouldn't he have his own dossier? In the meantime, are we all just assuming that EJ is Shane's target? What if it's another DiMera? After all, Kat has played Chad before. When Thomas invites Kat to hang with him and his dad, is Kat doing it for Thomas, for Chad, or for Shane? And while Chad, Kat, and Thomas frolic, Xander continues trying to prove that he's the superior parent for Victoria. Everything is fine as long as the Todd is asleep, or smiling, or gurgling at Daddy. But babies also cry. A lot. How their foster parenting is going. Oh, Victoria is done being sleepy or smiley. Now Victoria is cranky. And what's Daddy going to do about that? Gwen is back in town. She's rich now, but she still needs a place to live. And she's chosen the DiMera mansion. EJ is as confused as we are. Why? How? What? Gwen can't stop talking about all the money she got by divorcing Dimitri. She can buy the Salem Inn. What's her agenda here? After reuniting with Sarah and welcoming their daughter, Victoria, Xander underwent a complete metamorphosis on Days of Our Lives. He gave up his callous Neanderthal ways, began behaving better and more responsibly, and was on his way to becoming model Salem citizen. The character's steady maturation and transformation upon acquiring the family and happy life he'd always dreamed of was a welcome development. That's why seeing him revert back to the mean, menacing Xander of old has been so difficult to watch, and it's not the man Days fans want to see. Granted, Xander had plenty of reason to be upset when he learned that Philip had duped him out of half of his inheritance. He'd come to genuinely like his newfound brother while they were running Titan Industries together and, in the process, slowly bonding. And finding out Sarah knew about Philip's deception and kept mum, fearing what the repercussions might be if Xander learned the truth, was an even worse betrayal. It proved that the woman Xander loved and thought believed in his new, improved self clearly didn't at all. However, Xander's drastic about-face has been a shocking and unwelcome development. Viewers never got to see how genuinely hurt or broken-hearted he was. Instead, the character rapidly went from 0 to 180, from good guy to scoundrel. In a matter of a few short episodes, seemingly overnight, he was sneering and snarling at Maggie, a woman he's always loved like a mother. He was cold and callous toward his soulmate Sarah, barking and making veiled threats at her. It was too fast and furious, and more importantly, way too extreme. The overnight switch completely negated all the positive strides Xander had made during the past couple of years, and it sadly depicted someone who'd learned absolutely nothing about being a good, decent person. Just as Xander has felt betrayed by Philip and Sarah, viewers are feeling betrayed by Xander. Fans had totally invested in the new, improved version of the character as a respectable good guy, a man who'd learned some hard life lessons and really changed. They were rooting for Xander as a potential, albeit improbable hero, and for Xander and Sarah as a couple. Yet now all fans feel is duped every time Xander growls, grumbles, or threatens someone. After having witnessed and loved him as a devoted husband and father, it's hard to watch him revert to his detached and repugnant old self. Deidre Hall, the legendary actress best known for her portrayal of Marlena Evans on Days of Our Lives, joined the second episode of Soapy, hosted by Rebecca Budig and Greg Rickhart. In it, she's giving fans a rare behind-the-scenes look at her remarkable career. The podcast, which drops new episodes every Tuesday through September 30th. It dives deep into the history and enduring appeal of soap operas, featuring intimate conversations with some of the genre's most beloved stars. In this latest episode, Hall shares the story behind accepting the iconic role of Marlena Evans, a character that has captivated fans for decades. As she recalls her journey, Hall reflects on her life before acting, revealing her unexpected dreams and aspirations. While most fans know her as the legendary Marlena, it's fascinating to hear about Hall's career path before she stepped into daytime drama. Her journey to becoming a soap opera icon is as compelling as any storyline on Days. In the episode, she takes fans back to the early days of the genre, discussing how she created the first ever soap opera fan event. It was a groundbreaking initiative that allowed fans to get up close and personal with their favorite stars. The event has since inspired countless fan gatherings across the genre, and Hall's role in bringing fans and stars together is a testament to her enduring legacy. Of course, no conversation with Hall would be complete without reminiscing about some of her most memorable storylines and fan encounters. From her iconic moments with her Days of Our Lives co-stars to the deep connection she shares with her loyal fans, Hall's reflections on her career are sure to resonate with both longtime fans and newcomers to the world of daytime drama. Fans can tune in to Soapy on Odyssey or wherever podcasts are available, with full video episodes also available weekly on the CBS Brand YouTube channel. Whether you're a lifelong fan of soap operas or just discovering the genre, Soapy offers an exciting and nostalgic dive into the stories and stars that shaped daytime TV. In the Tuesday, July 15th episode of Days of Our Lives, Holly and Ari attempted to work together to escape their hostage situation. When they couldn't do that, they compared notes and realized they had something in common. Or should we say someone? Doug's first attempt at stealing the prized necklace from Gwen failed miserably, of course. The thug, meanwhile, is lining up backup plans for the inevitable time that Doug can't pay up or hand over Julie's necklace. He is pretty sure he can secure money from Holly and Ari's families. As for Holly and Ari, they tried to escape or get someone to hear them shouting, but nothing happened there, so they were forced to talk, and as they chatted, they realized they had someone in common: Doug. Holly finally knows that Ari hooked up with Doug, and Ari made the deduction that she was only with Doug because he couldn't be with Holly. Holly assured Ari that even though she and Doug had gotten close, nothing had happened. She wanted Tate, She didn't want Doug, so there was no need to worry about her coming between them. Although at this point, it seems like Ari will make the wise decision to give Doug the old heave-ho. He's a troublemaker who keeps making things worse for himself. Most importantly, Holly and Ari realize that they were in this position because of Doug. When this whole thing is over, Doug might not have any allies left in Salem whatsoever. But for now, they will have to rely on him to do the right thing, to get the money that he owes the loan shark. Or at the very least, they have to hope he will get help to rescue the teens. If only they knew that Tate had realized something might be up with Holly and Ari's disappearance. Unfortunately, Doug has told him he doesn't know where they are. Doug always has to take the most difficult path possible. Days of Our Lives spoilers photos for the July 16, 2025 episode tease a crazy day for some Salemites and a stormy night for others. Soon, in Salem, Rafe and Kat will begin working on their case, but she won't be too busy to continue getting closer to Chad. Stephanie is in for some major surprises, while Gabi's got questions for her new boss. Rafe and Kat are teaming up to take down a Demera. Later, Kat will join Chad and Thomas for a game of baseball, and it looks like Thomas may have a question for his dad. Stephanie is excited when Alex showed her the cover of her new novel, One Stormy Night. Things may take a turn when Kayla begins reading One Stormy Night, unbeknownst to her that it was written by her daughter. Gabi interrupted Xander's argument with Sarah, and she may be wondering what Victoria is doing in his office. Later, Rafe will share some information about Gabi, but it won't be long until she learns a kidnapped Ari never made it to the lake. Here are your Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, June 16, 2025. The new super spy team of Kat Green and Rafe Hernandez get together to discuss business. EJ Demera business, that is. So far, Kat has enjoyed getting to know him and doesn't think he is that bad of a guy. But Rafe is about to give her a whole new picture. Rafe has been trying to bring EJ down for years. Their rivalry began with Sammy, but was brought to new heights earlier this year when EJ switched Rafe with Arnold Feniger for the second time. Who shot him remains a mystery, although all eyes are pointing at Johnny or Chanel at the moment. However, Kat and Rafe are more focused on EJ than on who shot him. When Rafe tells Kat everything that EJ has done over the years, she is floored. She had no real idea who she was dealing with. Kat wonders how Chad is able to accept these things about his brother. Stephanie is still a little uneasy about her novel being published, but excited at the same time. She never expected anyone to read all of these fantasies that she put on paper, but now the whole world is going to know her innermost thoughts. Alex seems more excited than Stephanie when he presents her with a big surprise. It's the design for the book cover, which makes all of this seem even more real to Stephanie. One Stormy Night is really going to be published, and might even become a bestseller if Alex has his way. When Kayla later drops by, she sees the cover on Stephanie's tablet and remembers finding the manuscript around the hospital and using some tricks during a wild night with Steve. How will Stephanie feel knowing her parents read her sex fantasies and put them into practice? That would be enough to mortify any daughter. Kayla might also be mortified when she eventually learns the truth about this novel. Welcome to the Days of Our Lives Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that, I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. Days of Our Lives showed us the power of female friendships on the July 15th episode, and it was perfect. Recent high school graduates, Holly and Ari, found themselves kidnapped and held hostage in a dark, dingy room and began to compare notes. They didn't even need a Facebook group asking, "Are we dating the same guy?" for them to figure out that they were pretty much dating the same guy. And he got them into this mess. While Holly wasn't dating Doug III, she admitted that it almost happened. Ari quickly realized Holly was the reason Doug wouldn't commit to her. Rather than forming a bitter rivalry over their discovery, both girls were pretty ticked off that Doug had been less than honest with them, and now their lives are at risk. Doug is going to have a whole lot of explaining to do once Holly and Ari are out of this sticky situation. Meanwhile, Kristen and Gwen got reacquainted. The old pals were happy to see one another and planned to cause much mischief as roommates in a mansion rather than cellmates at Statesville. EJ already feels like he is being ganged up on with his sister and her partner in crime living under the same roof, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Maybe EJ and Doug will need to commiserate with each other soon. The women are angry, and it won't be pretty. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full duel recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as. Close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. In Salem, drama is reaching a boiling point as Days of Our Lives teases explosive revelations in the case surrounding EJ DiMera's shooting. With EJ desperate to clear his son Johnny's name, a surprising turn involving hypnosis and long-buried memories could change everything. This week, EJ DiMera and his attorney, Belle Black, are working hard to pick the jury for Johnny DiMera's criminal trial. EJ is hoping Belle can delay the proceedings, especially after a suspicious video implicating Chanel Dupree surfaced. However, many fans suspect the video has been manipulated, possibly even a deepfake, to shift blame away from Johnny. Despite EJ's concerns, Belle appears to be pushing forward with the trial. EJ remains adamant that Johnny didn't shoot him and urges Belle to help him recall what really happened on that fateful night. Belle, thinking outside the box, comes up with an unconventional solution: hypnosis. Belle's mother, Dr. Marlena Evans, is known for her successful hypnosis sessions in Salem. Belle is confident her mother can unlock EJ's hidden memories and uncover the true shooter. Yet, there's a twist. If Marlena discovers during hypnosis that her granddaughter Rachel Black was responsible for the shooting, the fallout could be devastating. Rumors suggest Marlena might choose to protect Rachel rather than reveal the truth. With recent losses, including her beloved husband John Black, Marlena could be tempted to shield her family from further heartbreak, even if it means suppressing EJ's memories through hypnotic suggestion. Longtime viewers know the case is full of unanswered questions. There's no murder weapon, no physical evidence, and even EJ himself didn't want charges pressed. The recently surfaced video seems like a sloppy attempt to pin the crime on Chanel to protect Johnny. Meanwhile, Johnny is reportedly willing to plead guilty to protect Chanel, but Belle hopes hypnosis will offer a better solution. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest Marlena may implant a memory block in EJ to keep Rachel's involvement hidden. Further complicating matters, Sarah Horton is rumored to discover Rachel's guilt and also chooses to stay quiet, possibly driven by lingering maternal feelings for Rachel. Additionally, Kristen DiMera is expected to step in with a false confession, sacrificing herself to protect Rachel from prosecution. Fans have spotted subtle clues pointing to Rachel as the shooter: childlike mistakes, hidden weapons, and emotional breakdowns. With Marlena set to hypnotize EJ, everyone is waiting to see whether the truth will finally come out or be buried even deeper. Belle herself suspects Marlena knows more than she's saying. If Marlena shares her suspicions with Belle, the pair might decide to protect Rachel together. There are also hints Marlena will confront Rachel privately to better understand what happened that night. In a final twist, Kristen may take the fall to keep Rachel out of juvenile detention, adding another layer of sacrifice and deception to the already tangled storyline. As Days of Our Lives heads into another week of intense drama, viewers are left wondering whether EJ will remember the truth or remain in the dark due to Marlena's protection of her granddaughter. With multiple suspects, hidden motives, and family loyalties at stake, the mystery promises to keep fans guessing. Days of Our Lives, spoilers and updates tease that it seems that Gabi Hernandez might have just revealed a hint about a miracle baby sometime in the future. Even though Gabi supposedly can no longer have babies of her own, could there be a fresh Who's the Daddy mystery on the horizon that's set to stir things up? In the episode of Duel that aired on July 8th, Gabi remembered her youth and the fear she felt when she became pregnant with Ariana Ari Horton. Even though I would do anything to have another child, I certainly had my reservations about being a good mother, Gabi expressed. This statement seems to hold significant implications for Gabi's future on the NBC Peacock soap. Usually, they're a clue. Soap operas frequently utilize such dialogue as hints regarding a character's upcoming journey. Some call these script hints anvils. Considering this, it's possible that Gabi is on the brink of having her wish for a second baby fulfilled by some miraculous means. If Gabi does end up pregnant, Philip could be a potential baby daddy. Naturally, there might be another candidate for paternity, depending on how everything unfolds. Spoilers for the upcoming days suggest that Gabi will eventually reconnect with JJ Devereaux, which means JJ could also emerge as a biological father option. Regardless of the outcome, it's intriguing that Gabi has been discussing pregnancy and expressing her desire to have another child. It sounds like a storyline prediction. Days of Our Lives 2-week spoilers for July 14th, 2025. See, Johnny Dimera's trial kicks off and Sophia Choi's lies grow. Monday, July 14th. Sarah Horton refuses to let Xander Cook control her with these little custody games he's playing. She gets really aggressive with him after she storms into the office. Xander has little Victoria up at work with him. And of course, Sarah's furious. He took their daughter out of the Kyriakis house. Maggie Horton Kyriakis comforts Sarah Horton. We'll see if it's before or after the Xander showdown. Maybe both. Ari Hernandez and Gabi Hernandez argue before Ari leaves for the senior trip. Xander and Gabi have a chat at the office on Monday. She notices that his little daughter's there with him at work. She probably thinks that's cute. Doug Williams still can't pay his debts, and he knows the girls are at risk because of him. Holly Jonas has a nice moment with her grandma Maggie before she leaves for the senior camping trip. Tate Black and Holly are kissing. Looks like they're going to see each other there. Doug and Ari kiss. He's going to see her when she gets back. But things go off the rails and masked gunmen kidnap the girls. They won't ever make it out to the lake. Leo Stark and Javi Hernandez are out for a walk with foster baby Torto when they run into Sophia, who is still faking pregnant. Sophia writes a letter to the son she dropped at the fire station, and it seems she figures out real quickly that Leo and Javi have her son, so she knows that the little boy is safe. The letter she writes says that she loves him, and that's why she had to give him up. Tuesday, July 15th. District Attorney Belle Black gets a suggestion from defense attorney EJ Demera. I wonder if he's going to ask her to drop the charges on Johnny because of the incriminating video of Chanel Dupree. That's not going to happen, though. Meanwhile, Johnny is there for Chanel, and he hates that she's been accused. They each are quite certain the other is innocent. Johnny's actually ready to go to jail to protect her. Gwen Rischek spends time at the Demera mansion with Kristen Demera, who is surprised to find out Gwenny is still married to Dimitri von Lochner Demera. I'd like to see him back. He was such a hottie, by the way. Ari and Holly are tossed into a small room and threatened that if Doug doesn't pay up, looks like they are doomed, and Tate realizes that Holly going missing is Doug's fault, and he demands to know what happened to his girlfriend. Wednesday, July 16th, Alex Kyriakis has a surprise for Stephanie Johnson, and Rafe Hernandez is working with Kat Green on the joint FBI Lush ICE investigation into EJ. Looks like Patch may be involved with this too, perhaps at Kayla Brady's request. So, Rafe fills in Kat on many of the sins of EJ's past. I mean, frankly, he can't lay them all out. There's really too many to go into. Thomas Dimera asks Kat to hang out with him and his dad Chad Dimera while they're out playing together. But Kat may feel funny about taking him up on that offer. Gwen asks EJ if she can move back into the Dimera mansion. She is an in-law after all. Her husband Dimitri von Lochner Demera is EJ's nephew because Dimitri is Megan Hathaway's son. So, it looks like EJ may let Gwen move back in, but only if she does something for him. Everything comes at a price with EJ. We all know that. Xander has a hard time calming down fussy Victoria at the office. I wonder if Gabi might help him out. Thursday, July 17th. We've got Sophia still faking her pregnancy this week, and she's telling even more lies to her mom, Amy Choi. Shinny Nielsen. Plus, Tate and Doug get into a physical confrontation over the girls' kidnapping. Looks like Tate is ready to smash Doug's face in, and Gabi finds out her daughter Ari was taken. And I wonder if she's going to immediately call Jack Jr. Devereaux like she does, you know? I wonder if he's going to think she's crying wolf, because last time she was out hooking up with somebody. The girls are really scared, and Holly and Ari desperately hope someone finds them soon before something bad is done to them. EJ and Belle select jury members for Johnny's criminal trial. EJ really wants to avoid all this. He doesn't want Johnny facing these charges, and he tells Belle if he could just remember that night and remember who really shot him, that would prove that Johnny is innocent once and for all. And Belle has a suggestion for EJ on how to get his memories back on Days of Our Lives. Friday, July 18th. Sophia loses her nerve. Maybe it's about dropping off the letter. Maybe it's about her fake adoption scheme. Things get even more awkward for Kat and Chad on Friday, and the search kicks off for the missing girls. Ari and Holly just need to stay safe till they're found, but bad men with guns have them. Rafe is there with Doug and Tate, who are very worried, and I wonder if Rafe is going to wind up arresting the gangster kidnappers, which might actually solve Doug's problem without him having to pay off the exorbitant interest. Xander comforts Gabi. She is very upset about Ari being missing. They have a big hug up at the office, and I wonder if this starts a little something between Xander and Gabi. There is a kiss coming between them pretty soon. The week of July 21st through the 25th, we should see Holly and Ari found unharmed. But the question is, will Doug come out unscathed? Because Tate's going to be flinging accusations, and I'm sure Doug is going to have to come clean. You know, Holly knew some of the issues, but she doesn't know about this follow-up issue, probably because he didn't want her paying his debt for him or anything. Gwen faces more pressure about giving back Julie Williams' necklace, the Horton diamonds. And of course, as far as Gwen is concerned, she paid for him. They're hers. A custody battle kicks off between Xander and Victoria, unless they can find some middle ground. Right now, it seems unavoidable. Tony DiMera and Gabi are going to get busy plotting once her daughter is home safe.